I think the Plantagenet family, you know, the series is called The Cousins' War because it is about, fundamentally, a long, countrywide dispute between two brothers, you know, at the very top of the family tree as to who is going to inherit the throne. And one set of brothers call themselves the House of Lancaster, and the other brother calls himself the House of York. And it is a cousins' war. It is genuinely a family feud about who is fundamentally, who has the right to the throne, and then increasingly who can get it and hold it. So you have this family which is absolutely divided in terms of their own ambition. With the Woodville family, what you see quite warmingly really is a family that absolutely operates together. They see that Elizabeth is their key to greatness. She does her marriage probably almost privately. Her mother knows about it, probably nobody else. We don't even know that her father knew about it. I think he can't have done. And then what they do is they just get behind her. What then happens as the power unravels, as Edward dies, is that you get this situation where it is pretty well everyone for themselves. But what you don't get in the case of the Woodvilles is that big division inside the family. They're a united family. I think what we see is that Elizabeth is very good at using female communication. So there's a moment where they want to get George, Duke of Clarence, away from his ally, the Earl of Warwick, the Kingmaker, because he's now a danger to them. And Elizabeth goes to her mother-in-law, who hated her, and prompts her to send a message to her beloved son George. So that's women's toils. That's dropping a word in the right place, doing a little manipulation, making a suggestion, telling somebody it'll be okay if this happens. They do that. There's quite a lot of, I think, sneaky, politicking, manipulation going on, whereas the Plantagenets are big fans of death. You know, if someone's dead, that's the end of the story, really. So, you know, fundamentally, what can we do with Henry VI, the rival king, in the Tower, always going to be a focus for insurrection? Ultimately, they say, we'll kill him, and that's the end of the problem. What do the Plantagenets teach us? I think probably, well, if they were telling us good things, they would tell us to be braver and bolder and more decisive. And, you know, we are cursed by the invention of psychology. So we really are aware that we are in two minds always about everything. The Plantagenets didn't have a consciousness about that. They don't have a theory about consciousness like that. They just go, I feel like I'd like that, I think I'll have it. And sometimes they go, God wouldn't want me to do that, so perhaps I won't. And sometimes they go, God wouldn't want me to do this, but I will, and if I'm damned, I'll do it anyway. So you've got quite a direct connection between decision and action, which I find very liberating. I love it about them. In terms of being bad, that works both ways, of course. They do go, I think I'd like to be King of England, I'll kill the current king, and then I will be. So the consequences of, in a sense, that not thoughtless life, but determination that your will shall be the predominant force in the world. That's a dangerous route for a human being to go down, but it certainly gives you an exciting life. I think the Plantagenet men have this directness which comes from being able to exercise power, and because they're the ruling family most of the time, and they're ruling England as monarchs, they have an absolute direct access. They are the fount of law, order, justice, patronage, wealth. If you're king, you own everything. If you're queen, you own pretty well everything as long as he remains king, or as long as you remain absolutely recognised as his queen in favour. So the women's life is, in a sense, much more nuanced. It's much more dangerous. Physically, you're always in much more danger, even in peacetime, because you're still having to face childbirth every year or every other year. It's much more risky because the favour of men and the power of men is absolutely overwhelming. So in a sense, even when you're Queen of England, you're still living under an incredibly dominant patriarchy. So the sense of having difficulty with the power of others, which is so much a modern concept, is something that the medieval women share with us.